All right. So a few years ago, I had a little encounter with a fox that unfortunately had rabies. Now, I've contemplated on whether or not to tell this story in the first place, because I probably handled it in the worst way possible. But I figure at the very least, maybe this could be like some sort of a learning experience for all of you guys. You know, things to do, or rather things not to do, when confronted by a wild rabid animal. Now, this whole ordeal started on one early afternoon. I'm sitting in my living room working on a cartoon that, well, ironically, was about me getting rid of a bat that flew in the house with my giant pool net, when all of a sudden, one of our kids comes up to me, and they're like, "Hey, I think there's like a Wolverine outside on our pool cover." And at first I'm like, Wolverine? How do you even know what a Wolverine looks like in the first place? I don't even know what the hell a Wolverine looks like, for Christ's sake. So I go over the window, and instead of seeing this so-called Wolverine, I see a fox. And it's a very, very sick, deranged-looking fox. Now, it's worth mentioning that we have a bunch of woods behind our house, so seeing a fox is not very uncommon. In fact, sometimes we hear their asses out there all night long. And if you've never heard what a fox sounds like, well, they don't really bark or howl or do any of those noises. Instead, they fucking scream like a woman being murdered. Yeah, that's what they sound like. The first time I heard that shit in the woods, I thought the fucking Blair Witch was out there murdering people left and right. But apparently, that's just the sound a fox makes. I sure as hell didn't remember that from the old See and Say toy that I had as a kid. The fox says, "Ah! So I'm looking at this fox, and I'm no veterinarian, but this thing clearly has rabies. It's tweaking out pretty severely. It's got the old cappuccino foam around its mouth and shit. That thing's either got rabies, or somebody fucking buried it in the pet cemetery, and it's come back to life to murder us all. Either way, it's a situation that now I have to deal with. Now, real quick, can anybody actually tell me what you're supposed to do in a situation like this? Well, if you guessed, I don't know, don't go outside and confront a fucking rabid animal, you guessed correctly. So anyways, I go outside and confront this rabid animal, and I'm fairly confident I can handle this situation. I was a Cub Scout as a kid. I got the, rabid animal merit badge or whatever the fuck. Well, apparently me handling the situation turns out to be me just yelling at it from a distance. "Hey, quit it! Knock it off! Get out of here! Go fucking have rabies somewhere else, you asshole!" And you know, that did not help at all. In fact, it just kinda pissed it off a little bit more. Now it's doing that murderous banshee scream shit directly at me. And to make matters worse, now our 120-pound Rottweiler can see this thing through the window, and he starts losing his shit. Oh boy, is that my new best friend out there? Oh man, I don't know if I wanna lick it or if I wanna fuck it first. So I get my wife on the phone, who's driving in her car at the time, and I'm just like, "Hey, there's a fucking zombie fox on our pool cover, and I believe it has a shit ton of rabies." "A zombie fox with rabies? Well, what the hell are you calling me for? Go fucking shoot it with a rifle." "Oh, all right then. That's a good idea. I'll call you back." Boop. So I go and grab my .22 caliber rifle that, thankfully I bought just a few weeks prior. I head back outside, and I'm confident that I'm about to fucking Lee Harvey Oswald this rabid fox. But that's when it dawns on me that this fox is indeed standing on top of our pool cover. If I shoot and miss, well, I'm probably gonna fuck up our pool like 6 different ways this Sunday. So quickly, I change up the game plan. I call my wife back up and I'm like, "Hey, I'm afraid I'm gonna fuck up the pool 6 ways to Sunday if I shoot at it. So instead, I'm just gonna charge at it with this hockey stick and hope for the best. What do you think?" "I think that fox is gonna fuck you up 6 ways to Sunday. That's what I think. Look, I'm just gonna call animal control and have them deal with it, okay?" Now, this is what you're supposed to do in this situation. You're supposed to call animal control. Apparently, trying to fight a rabid animal with sports equipment's frowned upon. What the fuck ever. Now, I don't know if it's just our local animal control or what, but they were not very much help in this situation. "Good afternoon, animal control. We have a zombie fox holding our pool hostage. Send back up with lots of ammo." What? You said it was a fox?" We don't deal with any wild animals. We just deal with, like, stray cats and dogs." Now, this was pretty perplexing because, well, they're called animal control after all. Here we are with an animal that desperately needs to be controlled. You're not gonna come out and fucking help us? No, instead they give us a phone number to a man named Carl, who apparently, like, moonlights as, like, a rabid animal specialist, apparently. I don't know if this guy was, like, just a redneck with a harpoon gun or some shit. But what I do know is that when we called his ass, he didn't answer his fucking phone, so we have no idea. All right, so we tried yelling at the fox, a rifle, a hockey stick, animal control, and then Carl the fucking bounty hunter, and yet here we are, still have a rabid fox on our pool cover. Well, eventually, we get the local sheriff to show up to our house. And at first, this guy was like as helpful as animal control was. Well, what do you want me to do? You want me to try to shoot at it? I mean, I guess you're a sheriff. You're probably a better shot than I am. Oh boy, I don't even know if I'm allowed to shoot at the damn thing in the first place. So this guy literally pulls out his phone and calls up his boss. And he's like, hey, we got like this fox holding this guy's pool hostage. Am I allowed to shoot at it? He wants to know what happens if I accidentally shoot your pool. Well, that was what I was trying to avoid in the first place. Okay, yeah, he doesn't want us to shoot the pool. Uh-huh. All right, then, bye-bye. Boop. Yeah, he doesn't want me to shoot at it on account that I might fuck your pool up 6 different ways to Sunday. All right, so clearly we have to get this goddamn fox off of the pool before anything else can happen. Well, of course, to me, this sounds like a perfect job for my big-ass 12-foot-long pool net. Now, side note, I just want to say, I'm so goddamn grateful for this pool net. It has bailed my ass out multiple times when I've had wild animals on my property. If it was a person, I'd fucking have to buy it a beer, probably 12. All right, so now with the big pool net in hand, we come up with the final game plan. And that is the sheriff's gonna scoop up the fox, fling it into the yard, and that's where I'll be, sitting there like fucking SEAL Team 6, waiting to take care of business. So this guy approaches the fox with my giant, unwieldy pool net, and I don't know if this was like just another Thursday to the dude or what, but he nonchalantly scoops the fox up, and then he flings it into the yard like a goddamn lacrosse player. All right, time for my big moment. I raise up my rifle and I'm like, this is America, and we don't negotiate with terrorists. I squeeze off like half a dozen shots, and you bet your ass, every single one of them missed. It wasn't even close. I was like a fucking cartoon character, shooting the silhouette around this goddamn fox. The sheriff's up there judging me hardcore. This guy was a fucking Cub Scout? My asshole he was. Look, in my defense, I didn't sight in the scope, all right? I told you guys I just got the damn rifle. Thankfully, the gunshots did scare the fox out back into the woods, and that completed our whole little saga of all this bullshit nightmare bullshit. All right, well, I guess that's settled. Holy hell, some Lee Harvey Oswald you are. God damn, your ass wouldn't even hit the fucking Lincoln Continental shooting like that. So I go back into my house, bewildered, wondering what the hell my life is these days. Meanwhile, our dog's staring at me like, oh, why'd you scare it away, you asshat? Now who's gonna be my best friend? Now you might be sitting there like, well, what happened to the fox? Was he okay? He just scampered off into the woods? Well, what were you expecting, a happy ending? All right, let's give it a happy ending, I guess. And so the fox scampered into the woods, it fully recovered from rabies, it got married and had lots of loud-ass fox babies, and it definitely didn't die a slow and very horrific death out in the woods. Anyways, the moral of the story is, don't approach a fucking animal that's got rabies. Stay inside, go call animal control, or at the very least, maybe a hillbilly with a harpoon gun. Maybe you're lucky and yours has like a fucking pager or something, and let the professionals deal with it, because rabies is a very shitty way to die. The end.
brewstew.com